Hey everybody, welcome to a Saga Saturday. We're doing pretty good on these pens. We're selling them, we're finishing them, they're going out the door, people are posting them on Instagram, it's really cool. So in this video, we're just gonna show you guys around the shop. We've got a lot of pen machining, assembly, etc. going on, while knife production is also at its peak. So right now, I'm working on the Torno Swiss lathe. Making the button, one of the core components, the tactile element of this pen. And they're driving me crazy because the lathe is not doing what I want it to do. Essentially, the parts are getting short. My good parts disappeared. That face right there is supposed to have a nice little radius on it, but it's flat and it's like 30 thou shorter. And I posted on Instagram, got some good replies already. I've been talking to 2 tech guys. Something is happening that I'm not seeing or not understanding properly. So yeah, it's just annoying. It's not the simple things like tool offset, whatever. So I'm sure by the time this video goes up, I'll have it figured out. But yeah. Other than that, new parts carousel video here. Ding. This thing works awesome. I've got it set to 2 parts per bin right now. It's going good. I just wish they were good parts. Because I'm making like, I think one day I made 5 good parts and 40 bad parts.
Today we're making some clips. One of the more complex parts on this machine. Tolerances aren't too crazy, but there are a few key items on here, and the entire process is pretty involved considering we're doing that in one operation. So once this machine stops, I'll give you guys a peek inside to see what we're doing and how we're doing this. There's a few challenges with this, mainly that because we're milling on a lathe and the chip conveyor is made for turning, some of the chips end up packing up in the conveyor and we have to like move it apart and clean them out almost daily now because of the volume of chips this produces. But yeah, we're working around it and making some beautiful parts here. Nice and shiny off the machine. Really just one deburring op left to remove that little tab, clean up that surface, and it goes into tumbling, or you know, if we're going to start polishing them in the future, it'll go to that, and it looks great. So our tolerances are there, we're meeting everything we need to, so we're pretty happy about this. It takes about a day or 2 to set up because of how many blocks have to come off. We thought we would run this dual block here until we took some measurements and realized it's not really going to work for us. There's a bit of, you know, there'll be a collision, so that's pretty not something you want to happen. So yeah, we've got everything set up in there and we're rolling. So let's see how this thing looks. All right, so that's clip pretty much done right now. If you guys want to take a look, you can kind of see how much chips there are all around. So that's pretty much complete. Now it's going to move it over in B axis and cut off that tab. So pretty much the same as the video John showed you guys earlier. Pretty much the same setup. We've moved a few things around, but other than that, it's great. It's working awesome. All right, so this is our part. I'm going to show you guys how we're going to grind this little tab off. So follow me. All right, so now I'm just going to take off this tab. Normally you'd wear a respirator because this creates a little bit of dust, but I can't talk or show you, so I'll just do this quickly and you guys can see. So that removes the tab, leaves some material for me to buff off with the Scotch-Brite wheel. And I don't want to go too far in because there is a nice little chamfer that goes around there. And I'm stopping right before that chamfer. The rest of the action is going to come with the 3M wheel. All right, let me throw on a mask for this. All right, so now we take our clip that we've polished up, cleaned up that edge, and we're going to throw it in the tumbler to give a nice tumbled finish. That'll be about 2 to 3 hours in there. We want them to match the tubes as well, so sometimes we'll batch them. And yeah, from there they're going to go to either be raw or they're going to be anodized by Yo upstairs. So got some cool colors coming out and some cool finishes. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy it.
Right now I'm inspecting one of the turning inserts on the Swiss lathe right now. What this guy does is it goes across the material and it turns the diameter and the groove and the radius and everything, and it has to hold an extraordinarily tight tolerance. I'm trying to hit a tenth, the 1/10,000th of an inch or less, yeah, on this diameter. And it can do it, but if it wears or if it chips or if it breaks, or if, like an idiot, you jog into the material like I just did and chip it, I'll show you guys what it does. So I'm looking at it under the microscope right now. This side has a little bit of wear, but it's fine. It's done, like I'm not gonna use it again. But over here on this side, it is destroyed because that's where I jogged it into the material, just ever so slightly. But that's obviously toast. And then compared to like a brand new one, let's take a look at that right now. The brand new one is clean and sharp and shiny and just gorgeous. So a part like this is absolutely critical. I mean, these are very high quality inserts and they're ground instead of the molded ones. Gives you a better finish, sharper edge, things like that. And every little bit, hundreds and hundreds of things across the entire shop, the entire process add up to make this pen as great as it is. It has to be everything we can possibly make it. Yeah, so one tiny little piece of the puzzle. Time to replace, put the new one in, and order more because the new one was my last one.
Hey everyone, welcome to Saga Saturday. Today we're gonna put together a Saga. So come on in, we got a couple of components here. Right now I've already assembled the threaded sleeve, the button, and the retainer. That's just lightly pressed in, so it can still be removed. It's not a permanent assembly, but it is fixed in there, so that way it doesn't come apart easily. So first things first, I'm going to put on the slider, put our cool little wave spring in there. Now I'm going to start taking these 3 ceramic balls, the same size we use on the knives for the bearings and the detent, right there. I'm going to take each one. In the future, we'll probably have a bit of fixturing for this. We've talked about having some Delrin that we can use, that way it doesn't scratch. But right there, that's not too hard to do. They're all in there. Now I line up the bottom of the wave spring so that it's not going to roll around on the C-clip. C-clip gets pressed in. And there's my assembly. So that's the heart of the mechanism right there. So, take my clip, put it over, tiny little drop of nano oil, because this section is not going to be taken apart very often. Just want to prevent anything from seizing up in the long term. Always make sure these function. We have a custom tip spring. We get these custom made for us locally. Right now we're just doing a raw assembly, so everything is just raw titanium. Goes in there like that. Get a protective sheet of paper so that there's no rubbing between the clip and the tube. And there we go. Ready to post up.
I have really good news. So yesterday I was whining about that problem with the Swiss making short parts. Put up that post on Instagram, got tons and tons of great, awesome feedback. Some really solid leads. Eventually it was my buddy Rick Check that said run the machine in single block where it runs through one line of code at a time and pauses, and then you'll see exactly where the problem is. And when I did that, it was like painfully obvious that I made a mistake. There was this one line of code, we'll show you right here, that said move the z-axis 35 thou, which I used to have to do when the machine was set up in chucker mode, and now I don't have to do it anymore, and it was causing all of my problems. Delete that line, it's working great. I've made 120 parts today with only the first 2 scrapped, and then everything else after that's been like 1/10 tolerance. Super duper happy. Parts catcher is working awesome. It's catching 2, 5, 10 parts per bin, whatever I set it to. Like, things are good. Things are really, really good now. It is really fun to bring these pens back to market. It's been in the works for almost 2 years, making these pens from day one, which is like February 2017, 18, that now we're totally in production. Pens are being made there, pens are being made there, knives are being made there, knives are being made there. Everything's happening at the same time. It's awesome. And it's super awesome to take something that's like a normal, mundane, ordinary object, like a pen, like a boring pen, and turn it into something precision crafted that we can be super proud of, you guys can be super proud of. We can make all these cool videos and you can follow along in the process. If you are interested in these pens, in purchasing these pens, we've got a link in the description with the link to our Maker's Choice system, where we're taking names, interest only, and no money down or anything like that, where as we finish pens, we are randomly pulling names from that list, giving everybody a fair, equal shot into getting one of these beauties. In order to stay updated with everything we're doing, we're going to be releasing a lot more YouTube videos, Instagram content too. Please consider subscribing and following on both of those channels so that you guys can stay in tune with what we're doing, because we've got a lot of crazy stuff happening in the coming months. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you later.